Now, this is a special segment and one that I know a lot about because I've been doing this now for 5 years. I change things around. But, you know, in the new book, Eat Rich, Live Long, Dr. Gerber really goes into this, along with Ivor Cummins, the Fat Emperor. But my question to you right off the bat, Doc, is how could we have been so wrong for 40 years?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Chris. I know you're a big advocate, but we actually, in the chapter 1, we go into this, and unfortunately, it's been our singular focus on cholesterol over the last 40 years that has made us sick and fat. And what we should have really been focusing on are things like insulin, insulin resistance, metabolic disease, and chronic inflammation.
So it's the getting rid of sugars and upping the amount of healthy fats, and you've got a lot of dishes that you brought in here, which are in the book, ways to really shift our paradigm.
Yeah, so chapter 2 really goes into some of the practical things. And
just point out what we're looking at right
yeah,
now.
so these are some of the recipes from our wonderful chef Ryan. And my friend locally, Leela, spent a lot of time preparing these wonderful dishes. And perhaps this can change the paradigm. So starting over here is probably my favorite dish in the book. This is liver that has been neglected from the dietary guidelines. This is an example of the most nutrient-dense food in the world. We move over here. This is cauliflower shrimp fried rice.
And it's about eliminating the carbs, right? Because well, essentially, medically, you're trying to reduce the insulin spike of all this, right?
Yes. So insulin resistance. When it comes to cardiovascular disease, we have focused again on cholesterol. And it seems that inflammation, particularly driven by insulin and other inflammatory factors, are what seem to cause inflammation in the blood vessels. It's like everything else.
And see, I made this change for performance and for health longevity reasons. I'm not just in it for the short term anymore, more longevity. And you know, I found you and I found the engineer Ivor Cummins. You're part of a group really at the forefront of all this around the world trying to change this around. And this book is just fantastic trying to get that started. I mean, this is from your heart, isn't it?
Oh, very much so. I got involved with it over 18 years ago, and about 4 or 5 years ago I met Ivor Cummins. And this is great for all walks of life, for athletes, endurance athletes in particular.
Because this is a big wave of endurance athletes doing this now.
It doesn't mean that every athlete will benefit,
right? But
it's something to experiment with. If you've an athlete that previously had a metabolic issue, it's something to try and to see if you get a benefit.
So what's the bottom line of all this? If you were to say, man, my 5-year goal, 10-year goal, what's the bottom line?
Well, we like to find some common ground among the nutritional luminaries. And I think simple things such as, well, cutting out sugar. Sugar's bad. Cutting out refined and processed food. Maybe reducing grain. There's some controversy on the non-low carb side about the benefits of grain. Definitely cutting out these industrial seed oils and redefining healthy fats. Right. So avocado, olive oil is good, but so is coconut oil and butter.
Yes. All right, Doc. Well, I'm hip deep in all this. I've been for 5 years, so it's great having you in today. Appreciate your time. Good luck with the new book. All right, guys, back into you.
You know, butter and coconut oil.
I'm a huge fan of the low-carb diet, but let me tell you, my dad used to fry liver at the house.
All right, liver and onions. You walk in the house,
and boy,
you
can't miss that smell. Woo! That'll get you to lose some weight. Fry up some liver and onions. Smell that. Hey, the time has come. It is not just